in an emergency like a bee sting, you can connect quickly and put your hands to save yourself. Hello, how are you? I hope you have been well. And if you're not feeling too well today, a little bit low energy, I hope by the end of this video you will feel fabulous, because I will begin to send you distance healing as you hear my story. Before we begin, please subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit the bell button, because the more people subscribe and hit the bell button, the more people are going to be aware of this channel, and we can make more people happy and smile. So please subscribe. And today I want to talk to you about what happened at the local fair. Japan Reiki Studio, which is the Canada chapter, Japan Reiki Association, participated in a local fair. We went there to do some free Reiki demonstrations and just, make awareness to the local community that we are right here. And there were some other fabulous local vendors. Some people were selling sweets, some people were selling vanilla extracts, some people were selling beads, and a whole lot of other things. A lot of fun for the kids as well. Face painting, there was food. So anyway, well, next year if you're around in my area, please join us. So anyway, we were demonstrating, and it was beginning of September. So many bees and wasps. So many bees and wasps. Oh my goodness. And I got stung. That's the story I want to tell you. Oops, I got stung by, I think it was a wasp, because I did look up the difference between a wasp and a bee, and I think it was the wasp that I got stung, but I'll check again. But what I remember is that I think it said that with the bee, when a bee stings, the needle stays in our body, and so that's why a bee can only sting once, whereas if it's a wasp, the needle doesn't get stuck, so they can sting again and again and again. And I don't know, I probably got stung once, and I actually got stung on my thigh. And because you can't, I can't show you my thigh, I'm going to pretend this is my thigh. And so as soon as I got stung, I'm like and I could see the wasp roaming around me. I put my hand and I started giving Reiki to myself. And all this while, of course, even before, I was connected with Reiki and giving Reiki to clients. And this was break, like in between clients. I got stung and I put my hand like, oh my gosh, I got stung. And it felt a little, of course, weird. It almost felt like the wasp had climbed up my pants. I was wearing a loose, summer flowy pants. So I felt like the wasp had climbed from under my pants all the way up to the thigh and stung me. And it just got stuck there. Because as I put my hand, I just felt like, oh my God, no, the wasp is still inside and it's stinging me again and again. But it didn't feel so bad. I mean, initially it felt a little odd, but I kept my hand and I continued to give myself Reiki, and it calmed down and it was okay. And because it was on the thigh, I could, as when your hands are down, naturally it touches, right? So it was just around that area. So you can see my hand is a little gone up. It was like that. So I could just keep one hand like that and walk around and go about doing things. And then, another client came by for a trial session. So I said, okay, both hands, and I started giving her some Reiki on the head. But then as soon as I, started giving Reiki to the client, my attention was removed from my own healing. My attention focused on the client. And of course, when you're giving Reiki, of course, the Reiki goes through me first and then goes to the client. So I do benefit. But in this instance, I think I needed a little bit more focused and concentrated Reiki on myself. And just that thought that, oh no, the wasp is still inside bothered me. So I said, I'm sorry, please excuse me. I'm going to just go to the washroom and check what's going on. And so I excused myself and went and checked. And of course, the wasp wasn't in my pants, obviously. But I could see the swelling, swelling up. But again, I didn't think that it was so bad. And so I put my hand and just continued. And it got much much better. So I was so convinced, and I've heard other people say, in fact, I've experienced with my own daughter when she had a bee sting. Immediately I'd given her Reiki. My mother has talked about bee sting with her students and how it kind of drastically healed, alleviated the pain. And so when I experienced it myself, I was amazed. But, I had that doubt. I'm like, no, you know what? It wasn't like, the sting wasn't so bad. Was it really a bee sting or a wasp? I mean, it was. But in my mind, like maybe it didn't go through, or maybe, I just kind of downplayed it. But then somebody else just across our stall got a sting, and she got on her, somewhere on her hand, and she covered it, and she had a tissue, and she was really in pain. And when she walked by us, I said, give me your hand, and I started giving her Reiki. Actually, no, I was busy still doing Reiki to myself. I asked my mom to give her some Reiki, and my mom started giving that person Reiki, and she said, yes, the numbness has gone. The pain has eased. And then I realized, yes, my pain from getting stung from the wasp was so much less because I already had the Reiki flow. And immediately I put my Reiki hands on where I got stung. And so I'm going to say it. It was Reiki that was that difference between me not having to endure the pain for so long versus that other person who got stung by the same group of wasps. Right? So Reiki works. It really works. And that is all I wanted to share today. I've been wanting to share this for a long time, but well, here I am. So that is why I always say Reiki is something that you can do casually, anytime, every time. If you are a Reiki practitioner, please, there are two different ways of doing Reiki. You can do a formal self-healing sessions when you have time, but otherwise just connect with Reiki and place your hands for as long as you can. And the more you practice this in an emergency like a bee sting, you can connect quickly and put your hands to save yourself. So really, practice, and practice. And if you need some help and support with practice, we at Japan Reiki Association have lots of online practices. You can contact the individual chapters for online or in-person practice, or you can check out our international website and see where you can find, or contact any one of us to see if there is a practice session. So I hope to see you in one of the online practice sessions or in person. And if you haven't learned Reiki, I have classes every month on Saturdays and Sundays. Of course, you have to be around my area in Canada, Toronto, to be able to take the class, because we only do classes in person, because that is really the most effective way. All right, so I really hope to see you. Thank you for watching, and bye for now. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope you don't forget to subscribe and also click that bell button for notification. Thank you. Bye.